You started off.
Hello, welcome. This is Nerd Rant, and I'm a nerd, and he's a nerd, and we have names.
And a weeb, and a geek.
Yeah, you're a lot of things.
I am a lot of things. Not
Anyways,
all
I'm
good.
JK Junior Wolf. This is Nerd Rant, and this is my co-host.
Dr. Zombie Seth.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I should probably
I got
pick up my
root beer.
microphone. That might help. I should have it like.
Oh
in
my
front
gosh,
of my mouth.
JJ.
No, it's fine. It got me. It was just
Eat it.
probably
Eat
quiet. I don't think that'd fit in my mouth. I don't have as big a mouth as you.
Touche. I do have a very large mouth.
Anyways, guys, we're another one of those episodes again where we came up with the idea
classic
literally
Nerd Rant
5
scheme.
seconds before the episode.
And when he says 5 seconds, he's not exaggerating this time, because straight up, he said the topic, and I said 5, 4, 3.
So yeah, I don't really have a easy way to say this, but we're going to talk about things in like gaming and movies that have like affected
Things that
culture.
affected pop culture.
Yeah. So that could go for, obviously, you gave the example before, Super Saiyan, which that is obviously a huge one. Like,
If you don't know what Super Saiyan is, I can't even say you're a child, because Dragon Ball Daima just came out, a new Dragon Ball anime on Netflix, and that has Super Saiyan in it. So realistically, like, you should have heard about Super Saiyan by now.
I could say Super Saiyan to a random girl at a club who's never watched a show or played a game in her life, and she'd probably know, like, oh yeah, that's when they go super powered. It's like it's one of those things, you know.
And even if it's from a meme, like, when he yelled for 20 episodes straight, like, you don't even have to know what it does. Just like, it's just how important it is. You even know the context and the memes behind the show because of how culture significant it is.
Exactly. So
because meme culture has become massive, and it still is.
yeah. So that's kind of what we're talking about. That's the idea.
For an hour, we're gonna talk about random stuff. We did not think about topics beforehand, because this was thought about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
So we are going to be brainstorming what is culture.
Yeah. So I wanted to say this one because I feel like it's kind of 50-50. Obviously we just talked about Star Wars, right? We just said a little bit about Star Wars before we started the episode. And that's kind of what made me think of this, is Star Wars itself has not really been seen by as many people as you'd think it has. Because, like, you could easily meet somebody who's never seen a Star Wars movie in their life, as opposed to something like Marvel, where they've probably seen at least one, if not two, right? Because there's so many Marvel movies, it's almost
would
impossible.
you count shows as well? Like, that's watched a Spider-Man show, like one of the animated shows,
like
or
one
something?
of the cartoons or
like,
something.
Especially the kid shows, right? Like, there's the Superhero Squad or something like that.
Yeah. So it's very easy to meet somebody who has never seen Star Wars, but then there's the other side where it's like there's a lot of people who have seen everything from Star Wars. So this is kind of like an interesting one where it's like it has definitely affected culture to a point, because everybody knows what a lightsaber is, right? Or some people may call it a laser sword, but they all think
sword, laser sword.
Yeah, they all think the same thing when you bring that up. You know, it's the handle with the sword that comes out when you press the button.
Spaceballs, that movie, right?
Totally. But no, it's one of those things where it's definitely put its foot in the door for the culture, because everybody would recognize elements. Like, I'm sure if I showed a picture of Darth Vader to somebody who's never seen Star Wars, they'd still be able to name, hey, that's Darth Vader. And possibly for bonus points, even, hey, that's, you know, Luke's father. I am your father. You know, that's...
I was about to say, like, even quote-wise, I feel like Darth Vader... good chance, but I feel like more people might even know the quote, Luke, I am your father, more so than Darth Vader himself. I feel like just because that is such a large quote that other people, like, copy. Like, it's not Luke, yada yada, I'm your father. Like, it has been copied over and over again in culture nowadays. Whether that's memes, other movies, other forms of television.
Yeah.
So I feel like that line itself is very iconic. Now, if they know it's from Star Wars, I don't know, but it's the same thing as Super Saiyan. Are they going to know it's Goku going Super Saiyan against a Frieza? No. But they know it's Super Saiyan. They know that quote. They've heard that quote. But it doesn't necessarily mean they know where it's from. But that's just how much of a level it's reached.
Yeah. As opposed to, like, if you see Iron Man, almost anybody could say, yeah, that's from Marvel. Or heck, even if they say it's from DC, they are close enough.
Superhero, right? Superhero.
Yeah, exactly.
They know it's a superhero. I'd say that's close enough to me.
It's
like,
a superhero from a comic, you know?
Especially certain characters like if you said Quicksilver and Flash and you get them mixed up, I'm really not gonna be mad at you unless I know that you're a diehard like superhero fan. But if you don't watch superhero movies like that and you get them mixed up with their universe, they're both speedsters. Close enough. You know they're superheroes. You know one is from the other.
Yeah. What? How about you name one now? What do you think? Like, probably try and think bigger. So, like, franchise-esque. What is one that you think has really like affected culture immensely?
That's a good question. Honestly, even
Bro's thinking hard.
no. I was thinking about something from Harry Potter that's something I would even recognize, and the first thing that came to mind was that Pop, the sock puppet one.
Brick.
I don't know why that's the first thing that popped up when I'm thinking Harry Potter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sigh.
No, I'm just trying to think of something like.
See, Harry Potter, I could like. There are elements of it that I could see affecting culture, but that's one of those ones.
Is like
where
that's
it's
just
like,
one of those phrases I was thinking of, like a cat, like not catchphrase, but like a spell that everyone.
Yeah. I think Lumos is one of them because Lumos is like
Mm-hmm.
injected itself into so many things. Because like I can say Lumos to Google and it'll turn on my phone's flashlight, you know. So that's one of those ones that I could see everybody knowing the word
That's what I'm
and
kinda
what
saying,
it
like,
does, but
quotes.
I don't think they really associate it with Harry Potter if they've never seen it. So that's one of those ones where it's like they have a lot of notable stuff that has definitely made its way into culture, but I don't think it's very helpful
does it need
to the
reach
franchise.
that level where you know the franchise it's from to reach that level?
I don't know.
Because that's what I was kind of saying about the Luke, I am your father. Like, even if people don't know it's from Star Wars, they've heard that quote before. And I think that reaches that level. You don't need to know the franchise to know the level. So I think Lumos would count. The fact that it is ingrained itself in culture, in the fact that it's even in your technology, like you just said, with your phone, I think that counts enough to have reached a cultural significant level.
I think this is I think we've I don't know how to say this. So pretty much what we're saying is all of the ones that are actually culturally significant have most likely had a meme or something that brought it into culture. And so now everybody knows the thing, but they don't know the thing they're supposed to associate it with because that's not where they heard it.
Because it's blown up so much that it is everywhere. It's from that franchise. They might know it's from that franchise, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much like what I think is the level of like significant that we're talking about. I think that's that level.
Yeah.
It could be from a meme. It doesn't have to be, but a lot of these probably are. Like Super Saiyan, like just people yelling.
Like Avada Kadavra. Everybody's heard the Vidikiduvi meme.
Let's go through. Complete side note, because I keep thinking about Doctor Who, because I went to Walmart. No, ready for this? Guess what they had at Walmart, JJ?
What they have?
DVDs.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's not that crazy, right? They weren't steel books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They were cheap. I got the complete 9th through 12th for $40.
That's all the New Age Doctors, right?
Not 13, 14, or 15.
15
but 14
is
has like
the
2
Disney
episodes.
guy. 14 is the girl, right?
David twice. David had like 2 episodes. That's technically the 14th. That's technically his own thing.
Oh, that's right.
When he came back. 13's Jodie Whittaker.
Okay. Bruh.
But still, $40 for 144, I think, hours?
I will say Barnes &
I also
Noble
watched-
had all of the old Doctors as well. I think for like $10 a season. They were all separate.
Nice.
It wasn't a box set, but $10 a season for all the old Doctors. And they had one that was all of the specials that released on Disney Plus.
This has specials too. This is all of the special, like Christmas specials and like all that.
Nice.
I
But probably not
also
the Disney ones, right?
got
Because it doesn't
Steve-
have Jodie Whittaker.
No, because it's
forward.
only up to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also got Steven Universe, which was more expensive, but it has all of Steven Universe, the movie, It has the future, which is the sequel series, and it has a bonus feature with music videos, including the original pilot, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated, because I'm really trying to think of like, well, would you say Doctor Who just the sounds? Sonic Screwdriver, the TARDIS?
I don't know. Maybe the TARDIS. I could see the TARDIS being one. I don't know about the
If
Sonic
only it does
Screwdriver. Yeah, I don't know about the Sonic Screwdriver, but I could absolutely... Cat, why are you touching my keyboard? There's a cat on my keyboard.
That's crazy.
Bro, he pried up my key. My X key on my keyboard is now lopsided. Oh, and it came off. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know either.
I got a Fortnite pulled up. Would you say, like... Oh, hey, that's right. We got Negan from Walking
Yeah, we
Dead.
did get Negan. Random, I hate his style. They shouldn't have made it, like, cel-shaded. It's so bad.
I mean, unless it's from the one game. Because it reminds me...
I think it's from the
like,
comic.
Because
they
there's
did
one
have
game
comics.
where they ate where the guy, you've probably seen the clip where the guy came up and they're eating the flesh.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
"Don't
think that's
eat
a
that," and
Telltale game.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. Straight away. It looks exactly like that game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If so, then it's pretty cool, because it's, like, dead copy. But, I don't know. So, from Fortnite, would you say, like... just, like, some of the quotes? Like, 90 full box? Stuff like that? Because it's, like, people kind of, like, unironically/ironically say that type of stuff, too.
See, I don't know. I feel like that's one that's mostly in the gaming space. So if you're in the gaming space, you absolutely have heard that and probably used it at one point. But outside of the gaming space, if you've never played a video game, I don't think you're going to know what that really is.
That's for... Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I know... So, yeah, it'd have to be outside of everything, then.
Yeah.
And I really just don't... Other than, like, Doctor Who, like, Steven Universe, like, it's a great show and it's massive, but I don't know. Would you say The Journal from Gravity Falls? Or anything? How big? Because remember, they had that whole in real life scavenger hunt type thing. I don't know how massive that got. So, like, Bill Cipher type of thing. You follow that kind of stuff more, so I'm more so asking you.
I think
I'm not saying it is or isn't. I just know that was massive.
Yeah, I think it's maybe
a little too...
the picture of Bill Cipher would be recognized, but I don't think people could name him. Because, like, obviously Bill Cipher is, like, Illuminati triangle, you know? So it's like, in a sense, everybody's going to recognize it to some capacity. They're going to be like, oh, it's the Illuminati guy from a cartoon. But I don't think they're going to know him by name, nor really what he entails as a character. So, I don't know.
Creeper in Minecraft? I'm just going through some of my games, like, trying to think of, like, big, iconic things. Creeper, specifically because of Captain Sparkle's, like, you know, revenge.
Honestly,
like,
I think Minecraft itself is
Minecraft,
one thing that has
honestly could be arguably that has absolutely,
it is for one the most popular game ever in the world. It is the most purchased game ever. So it definitely has the ability to be well known enough. Like, it's up far enough on that leaderboard to argue that it is,
and by
definitely
a margin too.
Yeah. So I think, like, if I went out and said, hey, what is Minecraft? Somebody would be able to give me a good summary despite probably not having played it or haven't played it in years. So,
or at least talk about it. Like, you get a diamond sword or something and you fight, like, zombies.
And they have
like,
creepers and zombies and there's grass blocks and you build a house, you know,
and it's all
creative game. Yeah. Like, they'd be able to give you a basic summary. So I think Minecraft itself is probably one of those things.
Yeah, honestly, let's go with full Minecraft. Let's just the whole game. I do.
That's really fascinating that there's, like, one that actually is, like, the whole thing is well known. Because to this point, we've said there has been nothing that is the whole thing. It's just, like, elements of it or stuff from memes.
Or a picture or a character or something.
Yeah, but Minecraft, like, the entirety of it is the thing that is well known.
So I'm just going through another thing, like when you say that like it's well known, I see like it's classic like anime items and what's recognizable. Some of them are just outrageous, like Mikasa's scarf from Attack on Titan. If you don't know you're not thinking it's this random girl's scarf. Like I don't know why people think that's iconic. But one that is iconic, would you say Pokeballs?
Oh yeah. Okay. Pokemon is a whole nother one.
Pokemon or Pokeballs. I would say the whole thing for that one as well.
Yeah, honestly,
like Pikachu, maybe like specifically Pikachu or
everybody
Charizard
would be able to name. It's like that. I know this is going right back there, but it's like that one meme where it's like the guy walking down the street and he starts naming the Pokemon to the lady. He like gives them all the wrong names except for Pikachu. He's like, everybody knows Pikachu. Have you seen that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think that's really it for anime. Like, there are iconic ones. Like, you could say Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but at this point, Yu-Gi-Oh in the space, because of the way the game itself works, the actual physical card game, it's kind of been going downhill. So I wouldn't say that anymore. Magic's its own thing. I don't think you can necessarily say Magic because it doesn't have like as big of a franchise like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
What else? I'm just trying to think of that list. Like Ichigo's sword from Bleach, but again, I love Bleach.
See,
I like it more than Naruto.
I am the perfect test here for your anime stuff. Like, if you want to figure out if something
I'm not even
like,
gonna say
crossed
Bleach, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just not as popular. Would you say anything about Naruto? Because you see Naruto.
Naruto Run. The Naruto Run.
Naruto Run. Yeah, no, Naruto Run. Naruto Run. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, the items would be the headband, but no, Naruto Run, absolutely. Area 51 meme, right? Like everyone was doing it. We have so many characters running across the screen with memes and the lights going by you. Naruto Run, absolutely.
That is like the thing that I think of when I see somebody running like that. It's the Naruto Run. And I'm sure there are other places it's been used before where it's not the Naruto Run. And I've seen it in other anime too, but Naruto is the one that it's associated with. So I feel like that's
because with Naruto being so old, because it was like early 2000s, I don't know if there was anything that really did it before that was like running like that. Because it's kind of a goofy way to run. I feel like people probably made fun of Naruto in early 2000s
they did it in,
for that.
Solo Leveling.
But I'm saying before, like, yeah, there's stuff after, but I'm saying before, like Naruto did start it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they do it now, but Naruto kind of came like 20 years before Solo Leveling.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably the only thing for Naruto.
Other than that, I can't really think of anything. Like, there are, unless you could say the Death Note, but even then, I'm not positive about Death Note. I think Naruto and yes, because of the massive memes, but I'm not sure about the Death Note itself.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think everything else, you kind of have to be at least a little bit of like we have to know a little bit about anime to know about the Death Note and this and that.
Yeah.
Like the Gum Gum fruit, right, from One Piece. Like, if you've seen a little bit, you might know it, but I don't think that's transcended anime enough compared to. So, here's a question then, that because you've probably heard of it. This is the only other thing I could think of. So we talk about Super Saiyan. What would you think about with Gear 5 Luffy, the Looney Tunes one? Do you think that did grow enough, or do you think that didn't quite break that cultural barrier?
Honestly, based on the fact that I barely know what you're talking about when you say that, I don't think so.
Okay. A lot of people say it's iconic. I do think it's iconic, but my problem
it's iconic
when
for
One
Piece is the thing.
Well, even not One Piece, even anime, but because it hasn't been around long enough. Like, Super Saiyan happened straight up like 30 years ago. We had 30 years to make vines and memes. It's literally transcended multiple of these short apps that could meme it. Where Super Saiyan's been out, not Super Saiyan, Ultra Instincts, that's also Dragon Ball. I'm very tired. Gear 5, I know my own show. I'm sorry, Luffy. Gear 5 has only been out for like 2 years. Not even. So, like,
I mean, there's
if
an
it's been out for
thing
15 years, we could.
Let's try and figure out what is the newest one that has been added to that. Because there's a lot of stuff, I'd say, over the past, like, especially over the past 5 years or so, that has, like, become big. Cough, cough, skibbity toilet. That I think has definitely made that transcendence. But that's strictly because of how culture itself changed after 2020 everybody was inside.
Everyone's
Everybody
at
became
home.
online to some
Short-form
capacity.
media type of stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of things that came out then immediately shot into online and were immediately memed. And so a lot of them kind of had a fast track to becoming part of culture. What do you think are some of those newer ones?
Skibidi toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even if you don't recognize the Skibidi toilet, you know the phrase Skibidi toilet.
Because you have a kid, maybe. Because a lot of our audience is older. So your kid most likely has unironically said skibidi toilet. Or ironically. And if they've said it unironically, yeah. Seek medical help. I'm trying to think which one is going for.
They don't have that Skibidi Riz.
Okay.
They ain't very Sigma.
Okay. Okay, let's roll it back. Let's roll it back, please. I got stuff I gotta do tonight, and I like to keep a few brain cells.
Okay. Any more serious ones that aren't necessarily brain rot? Trying to think. Because, obviously, there's been some big games and stuff, but that's
There's,
once again kind of like a gaming space.
But it's more so just gaming. Yeah, I don't think...
Immediately,
maybe.
the thing that comes to mind to me is Poppy Playtime and Huggy Wuggy.
Yeah, but
that's
I
also
don't
one
even
of
know
those,
that well. You have to be kind of into gaming. I've heard of it, but I don't really know. The only thing with Among Us, I would say, is maybe Sus.
Yeah, honestly, Sus.
People
That
saying
became
Sus, so Among Us
that became a lot
from...
more popular. Yeah.
So I would say Among Us, because it did blow up massively for a good while. And I think one big thing with Among Us could also be some of those shorter games, like Rumble Guys, also came from Among Us.
Yeah, but once again, that's another one where it's more...
it's more type gaming, but at least I'm just saying Among Us was so
I was going to say, that's one where it wasn't Among Us that got popular. It was the phrase that got popular because of Among Us.
Yeah.
So it's once again not like the franchise that kind of blew up. It's that brought that piece, that phrase into culture.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it was massive enough that it did venture out and make other games copied it because it did so well. But again, culture-wise, outside of gaming, sus was really the only word that did transcend it.
Yeah.
This is definitely not what I thought we were going to talk about today.
Yeah, no, this is interesting.
This is interesting, though. This is really...
It involves a lot of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really, look into it.
I think it really does have a formula where you really have to look at the culture, and I think time definitely plays a role in it, but not necessarily the amount of time, but the time itself, right? Like you said, because of 2020 and everyone being locked at home, that specific time, 2020, I'd say to end of 2021, things blew up significantly more because everyone was online. And 22, it kind of died off. But then you could theoretically have something like Super Saiyan that has been around for 10, 15, 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
So, it really is, it needs to have a formula. So, Among Us, because everyone's stuck at home, everyone's watching streamers, that blew up. And Sussy, right? Everyone had all these terms.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else for anime. For gaming,
Are there any more characters that you think have reached that point? We already said Darth Vader is probably one. Who else did we mention? We said Pikachu was one. Are there any more characters that you really would think? Mickey Mouse?
Steve.
I don't know about Steve.
I am Steve.
Random side note. When I saw the movie in the theater, everybody said I am Steve along with him when he said it in the movie. And it was so strange. I did not know that was the plan, but literally 50 people sitting around me all went, I am Steve in the theater all at once.
The convention, there was somebody that was dressed up as Minecraft Steve, and he kept saying, I am Steve. It was great. On our, another side note, I did watch Princess Mononoke. fantastic. I love seeing that in our 4K with I can feel the vibrations from the music when it got intense because of the surrounds. That it was so cool. Would you say anything from Joel from The Last of Us because of the show?
No, I don't think so.
No, not Last of Us. But what about?
I haven't played Last of Us, and I haven't watched the show, and I would not be able to name you any characters or anything from that show.
Then the only other two I can think of, just looking at my thing, Geralt from Witcher or Kratos from God of War.
No, once again, those are gaming space things. In the
just
gaming space,
gaming.
you probably recognize those names, but outside, you would have no idea.
I can't really think of. The only thing I can think of was Call of Duty would be Captain Price or something, which I definitely think is bigger than those two. I absolutely do think Ghost or Hudson.
But once again, that's probably
I just
a
don't
gaming
think that's
space.
outside of gaming. The only thing with Ghost would be the MLG and media, people watching those. But again, that's too old, and I think that was a very of the time. That's just not really a thing people think about anymore.
The Deal With It glasses.
So the MLG, so MLG, the Deal With It, that's great.
Not necessarily MLG. Because MLG, when you say MLG, I think the air horns, the flashing colors, and the Doritos. That's what I think of when you say MLG. I'm mainly referring to just the element of the Deal With It glasses. I've seen so many memes where it's just it freeze frames and the Deal With It glasses slide in onto the person's face and music is playing.
Yeah. Or there's games that you can buy that as a cosmetic.
Yeah. So I think if I were to show somebody the glasses in a picture and they were and asked hey, what are these? They'd probably be able to tell me the Deal With It glasses.
Or at least say they've seen it. I don't know if I'm necessarily will call it the Deal With It glasses.
Or the meme glasses or something
I would say meme glasses or something. But yeah, they would absolutely recognize it of some sort.
Yeah. There's a lot of thinking in this episode.
Yes.
Would you say the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah. And the Infinity Gauntlet kind of reminds me, I saw a picture of, I think it's Phineas, or it was just a random picture, and it had a bunch of stuff on it, which had, would you also say Ben Tex's Omnitrix?
I don't know about that one, because... So I've never seen anything Ben 10, just for clarity. I did not know it was called the Omnitrix until I met somebody that had seen a bunch of Ben 10 stuff. But I probably would have been able to tell you that's from Ben 10. I wouldn't have been able to tell you it was his watch. I wouldn't have been able to tell you what it does. But I probably would have been able to tell you that's from Ben 10.
I would say that counts then. Again, you don't need to know the specify, but you've seen it. It's massive enough that you have seen it. Someone's worn a copy of it or something. It's... Because I definitely feel the chance of me seeing an Omnitrix IRL is a lot higher than someone wearing a full-on Infinity Gauntlet.
I feel that's one that's more because of age, because a lot of people grew up with it, and so all the cosplayers made their versions. They post up.
No, I'm saying just everyday life. I think the chance of me seeing somebody walking down the street, because it's a smaller thing than a full Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Because you could, I have a Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood pocket watch, right, and that works. So I would say the Infinity Gauntlet though.
Yeah.
Especially because of the additional shows What If and stuff, kind of making a bigger deal out of it, and we have all the other shows.
The snap was kind of a cultural moment. Everybody knew oh, he's collecting the stones to do the snap. Even if you weren't a Marvel fan, somebody either told you about it or dragged you to the theater to watch just that movie. But the snap was a huge thing that happened, and everybody knew about it, even if you hadn't seen the movie. So you then, in turn, are probably going to know what the Infinity Gauntlet is.
I remember they had to make that a Marvel emote because of how massive it was.
Yeah.
It was a normal $200 emote, and then it went to Marvel.
Yeah.
Just looking through my games. Would you say the GOAT?
The GOAT?
From Goat Simulator.
No, it's just a goat.
He's the GOAT, though!
He's just a
Don't
goat.
disrespect the goat. Don't disrespect
Bruh.
the goat.
Sigh.
Anyway.
Stitch.
Monopoly guy.
Yeah,
Question
I
mark.
could say Monopoly guy.
Because
Yeah.
I only
Most
say that
people
because
would probably
I
be able to.
scrolled past Adventure Capitalist.
Yeah,
and that
most
made me
people
think of
would probably
Monopoly
be
guy.
able to say Monopoly guy.
You said
What about Stitch? Yeah, from
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Oh,
Because, like,
I think
What?
No. Let me explain. I think Stitch is more popular with women because if you go into any women's clothes section in any store, there's almost always guaranteed going to be something with Stitch on it, like a t-shirt, a pair of pants, like anything. It's probably going to have Stitch on it just because he is one of those characters that can fit any bill. Like, if you want something emo, you can have a Stitch with a knife. If you want something cute, you can have, like, Hawaiian
the knife
Stitch
is crazy,
with a flower,
but so
you know?
true.
It's like, he's one of
Yeah.
those characters that kind of fits any mood, so I feel like he has been used to oblivion in those spaces, and it's probably just that he's more popular with women. Like, I could absolutely see walking up to a guy on the street versus a girl on the street. The girl is probably going to be able to name Stitch faster, and most likely even have something branded Stitch than a guy would, because
Yeah.
I hadn't even
Because,
seen
like-
Lilo and Stitch till I met Lexi.
So, like, I do know Stitch, but, like, it's one of those things where, like, I feel like I would see something about Elsa from Frozen before I'd see Stitch. Like, I think it's definitely pop, and maybe that's because I am a guy, but, like, I generally don't see that going through my For You when I see Disney stuff. Even Disney stuff, I just don't see Stitch as much, Lilo and Stitch. Which is sad, because I do think it's a great movie. The only thing I can think of was, like, the one time where they re-released it and they changed some stuff from, like, a vending machine to a cardboard box. Like, other than, not vending machine, the wash. And other than that, I can't really think of that popping up until now with the live action. So I wouldn't say that, just because it hasn't popped up, whereas almost every other Disney thing, or a song has been popped off, like, you know, I'll Make a Man Out of You or something, like, there is something from Disney, whereas that one just, yeah. So maybe that is because I'm a guy. I'm not 100% positive, but I could see that.
I said earlier too, what about Mickey Mouse? Like, he's an interesting
Mickey
one
Mouse
because he
or
was kind of
Steamboat
forced
Willie?
into it. No, I think Mickey Mouse. I think he was kind of forced
Steamboat
into
Willie.
it, though. I don't think he very naturally came to the fame that he has now. I think it's mostly because he was kind of pushed into the mascot position of Disney, and so anytime, you know, a Disney movie or Disney the company or Disneyland or any of that is mentioned, Mickey Mouse is likely to pop up somewhere. And so it's not really a case of, yes, he is like a cultural figure. It's more so Disney made him their cultural figure. So anytime you think Disney,
Yeah, so
you
mascot,
are
or
pretty
Steamboat
much
Willie, like,
conditioned
actually, like,
to
it's in the
think
beginning
Mickey
of every
Mouse.
movie. Like, you're expecting to see some kind of Mickey Mouse, whether it be Steamboat Willie or maybe something different now in the modern text sense. Something Mickey Mouse. Yeah. Speaking of Mickey Mouse, I've been seeing clips from that one show, and it's so funny. It's just the Mickey Mouse show, and it's from, like, maybe, like, 5 years ago or something, maybe 6. And it's so funny with Gupples, the fish. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
As a-
dude, I haven't seen an episode of Mickey
you-
Mouse in like 10 years.
No, it's so funny. Like, it's like, no, it's not for baby guppies. And he turns around with a big old, like, thick chin with, like, it's like, what? It's so funny. I'm just picturing
Bruh.
all these clips doing keep popping up. I'll have to send you one of these. They're hilarious. The amount of F references that are not age appropriate either. Like, he looks over, he sees Minnie in a nice knitted sweater. His pants just fall off and his tail sticks out.
Bruh.
Yeah, it's
Sigh.
kind of crazy. What other shows? So I'd say definitely say Mickey Mouse. Is there anything else Disney? Or I can't really think because, like I said, like Disney princesses are going to be bigger with maybe the kids or parents, whereas the guys aren't going to care about. Whereas the guys might care about more like modern Star Wars or Marvel. You know, I feel like there's not really enough with Disney that has broken that gender age gap compared to something like Mickey Mouse, where kids like it, adults like it.
It's
I don't
really
really
hard
think
because
there's too much with Disney.
I am 18 right now, right? So I'm kind of like in the middle of like, I just came out of childhood. I'm like just started adulthood. So I don't know if I'm really, I can't speak for older adults, but I can speak for kids. Whereas like when it comes to the Disney princesses and stuff and like the mainline Disney movies, I know the characters and I can name the characters. I feel like most people could probably name 3 to 5 Disney princesses, if not more. But once again, that's more a case of a lot of them are really old. And so a lot of the generation out there either grew up with them or saw them for their kids' sake, you know? So everybody has probably seen them at least once. So it's one of those things where like, is that really a cultural like thing, or is it just...
I would say
Disney
no, because in order to make it
them,
a culture, I think that's because Disney is because that is what they make their money from. Like, you know, you look at the top films, it's always Frozen 1, Frozen 2, like one of these types of movies, right? Whereas I feel like in order to get to that cultural level, you have to have seen it outside of that. Like you unironically, or you didn't just do it because you were a kid and you grew up watching movies and Disney popped up. You unironically, I just don't think these Disney princesses did that. Now, the only argument I can say to that would be something like Wreck-It Ralph, where like you had the Disney princesses in there, and like you had someone like Merida from Brave that kind of like they joked about, we don't really count her. That's the only time I can think of where they did go slightly past them just being a Disney princess in a Disney princess movie. I can't really think of it seeing any other form of those. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, this is rough with characters because, gosh, there are so many characters that are so easy to name, and then there's characters that everybody would recognize but can't name. Like, for example, almost anybody could name Spider-Man, right? There's been enough Spider-Man movies, there's been enough Spider-Man shows, there's been enough weird videos on YouTube with Spider-Man and Elsa.
Games.
Everybody could probably
There's some iconic
name
like
Spider-Man.
PS2 games.
Yeah, but then you go to a character of similar fame levels, so like somebody like, help me out here. Who's another one? Wolverine.
I don't know.
Wolverine is practically the same fame level as Spider-Man, but because he hasn't been given as much media, he probably wouldn't be able to be named as easily because there isn't enough content for the internet to use to spread it around, right? Like, if you've seen a Marvel movie, you know who Wolverine is. You don't even have to have seen an X-Men movie. You could watch Doctor Strange and you probably know who Wolverine is. But if I go out on the street and hold up the character to a random person who's never seen a Marvel movie, they're not going to be able to tell me who Wolverine is, but I guarantee
especially if they pull out the
is.
bone hands versus the metal like claws. Like,
yeah,
how many people actually know that difference? They might think it's a completely different character.
And he's had so many different outfits too, like showing somebody the yellow and blue outfit as opposed to what he wore in the X-Men movies, like that black jumpsuit. That's like really difficult to tell, like, who is that, you know? He doesn't have enough like,
or you have something like Logan, which is the same
Spider-Man.
Character. Yeah, or Spider-Man or something. Really think, because it's like.
I was gonna say we can jump to our kind of like third media space here. We said we wanted to talk more about this year. What about music?
Okay.
Because obviously there's a lot of songs that are super well known, like "Shut Up and Dance." Every single person could probably sing the chorus or like the main chorus line of that song. You could probably complete the lyric.
Or an even more iconic one where you only need like one note and the first word. Seriously though, like how many people like I see that like legitimately
you're not
though.
Wrong.
Like that absolutely is like everyone could instantly start singing along with me. Everyone.
Yes, every single person. And yeah, that is like a perfect example of the cultural songs, you know. What other ones? Because this one's really interesting to me.
I'd say another one.
If you look at the top charts, like the most popular song, what was it? That one Ed Sheeran song. I'm drawing a blank on the name. I know
Shape of You.
Yes, Shape of You. That is the most popular song on planet Earth. But if I go out and start singing the lyrics, I doubt everybody will be able to complete them, which is weird for being the most popular song ever and having the most plays ever. But then something like
Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is the most sold single of all time.
Exactly. It's like just the like build up in the beginning of the song, people know like instinctively what it is. So this one's a really weird one. Because like I feel like it throws away most patterns of popularity.
Would you also say Gangnam Style?
With that one, I would say the video more so. I don't think people would recognize the song as
like
much.
The dance?
Like if you played... Yeah. If you played like a portion of the song, just a clip from it, that isn't necessarily just the chorus, I doubt most people would be able to name it. But like that like initial like whoop'em Gangnam Style line and then the dance, you know, like that absolutely would be recognized by almost everybody.
So fun fact, apparently, because I saw something about that guy. Did you know that apparently his country didn't like that song? It performed really poorly. In fact, like he almost got cast out. So he's actually now created the largest, like, not just in a country, I think almost world, like, record label. Because it, like he just came back and it's like, screw you guys. I'm gonna let people make music that they like.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, 15 digital copies or more. Something is actually beaten out Ed Sheeran, and it is Extra Jean Spotlight from 2020 with 54.3 million sales versus 41.5 for Shape of You. And then, do you know what the third one is? Despacito. Would you say Despacito?
That one.
I'd say that's... Honestly, I'd say that's bigger than Shape of You because of the meme. Because it was so, like, honestly.
Yeah, I guess, because
like you said, if you went out and you played something from Shape of You, I don't know if... but I feel like people would know Despacito, the chorus, at least, because of the meme potential, but also because of the music background in things like TikTok and Musical.ly and Vine.
Yeah, you have a point. Which is also really interesting that two of the three songs we've mentioned now are different languages than where most of the media is spread. Like, America puts out a lot of social media content. Not that it's like the biggest, because I'm sure, you know, the bigger countries probably have a lot more users putting stuff out, but the stuff from America and the memes from America spread a lot more than most other places. And so it's very interesting that Despacito and Gangnam Style are not in English, but those are two of the most recognizable songs in America.
So I was kind of surprised to like see something, but I wasn't super surprised when I saw the name because that's sounding Chinese. Like, because I don't know if you saw that there was the one movie that completely outbroke all of Disney from this year in sales.
Yeah,
for, like the most
like Devil's movie sequel thing. Yeah, it was like I don't know the picture. It was
Devils,
like a weird,
but it's kind of like a Black Myth Wukong, like those types of gods.
Yeah.
But
it was like an animated movie.
So I wasn't surprised to see something like that. But do you know what I am surprised I didn't realize? Is there's actually a new most streamed song on Spotify of all time. Do you know what it is? It's not Ed Sheeran. What do you think it is?
A Taylor Swift song?
No. It has 4.7 billion streams.
Oh my gosh.
And Ed Sheeran has 4.2. So there's almost 500 million more streams. It is The Weeknd Blinding Lights.
What?
I knew that did well, but like I did not think it did that well. Because did that not come out like 3 years ago?
Oh, I think it was a little bit more than 3 years ago, buddy.
Is it?
Are you looking it up?
2020, that's 5 years. Ah!
My word.
2020, that's 5 years.
Yeah.
No, it's 2019, it's even longer. It's 6 years old. Anyway.
Yeah, that was a while. But, I mean, I guess, yeah, like,
but still,
most people would probably
it blew
recognize
up, but I guess it did really blow up.
They go so under the radar when it comes to songs, I think. Because
Shape of You is still 2, though.
Especially in the pop genre, I feel like so many songs will come into the pop genre and just kind of like sit there and stay there, and people won't realize that it staying there kind of symbolizes that this song is more popular than you think it is. Because, like,
Just
Shape
going
of You
through.
is still being played on, like, pop stations, and it's still in playlists.
I mean,
and, like,
it's still almost 400 million more listens than third place at 3.8. Like, it's still a massive song, and I do not think it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like the deception of it is like, yes, it's an old song and yes, everybody knows it, but that doesn't mean its time is over. It's still being played so often, and because of that, it's kind of transcended.
Do you know what's crazy?
But under the radar.
Apparently it only came out 2 years before Blinding Lights. It only came out in 2017.
Really?
Yep. January 6th.
I feel like I've been hearing that song my whole life.
January 6th, 2017.
That's wild.
I think that's even crazier, than the fact that it had that, like, so much, but it only took 2 years to get a song that absolutely outblew it. And it had to have been, was it 2020, I guess, that it blew up, right? Like, there was, like, I knew it was the most popular song from the year, but I didn't realize it blew up that much, that it really did take over. Shape of You.
Wait. That opens a whole door. Hold on. What about people?
What?
Are there people who, like, have transcended culture? Because, like, I feel like Ed Sheeran would be one of them, right? Because he's, like, the ginger.
Mariah Carey. Everyone knows
Mariah
her
Carey.
Christmas time. Even in, like, other countries, I feel like they know of Mariah Carey come Christmas time. They put her with Christmas, not outside of it.
I don't think. I think
her
with
the
one picture of Mariah Carey, like from her Christmas
Yeah,
album, maybe.
yeah.
But, like, if you showed me a modern picture of Mariah Carey, I would probably not be able to tell you who it is.
Side twist: I was scrolling through TikTok, and apparently her son streams, so her son just brought in his mom, and it's like, oh, it's Mariah Carey. Okay.
Bruh.
I'm looking through here. Then, so we have The Weeknd, Ed Sheeran, Daft Punk. Would you say it with that level? I would say Queen or Freddie Mercury. What do you think? Because I just pictured the stadium where every single person sang the song without them after he passed. Everyone sang Bohemian Rhapsody. And here's another one that I think is a little bit more likely. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, absolutely. Like, he is a cultural,
absolutely
pillar.
Because that was one on the like highest sold singles. I think it was Thriller was number one.
Yeah, he was crazy. So he absolutely meets the criteria. Here's a different one. Outside of music, this one's a little bit more of like a meme one. But what about Trump? Like, I feel like he has been memed so often. Even, like, the choices he makes get memed. So, like, his voice is a meme at this point.
Choices he makes, his mugshot was everywhere.
Yeah, like, I feel like he is kind of, like, whether it's for worse or for better, he is kind of, like, a meme
He is the embodiment. Kind of he is the embodiment of any publicity. His, like, even bad publicity is publicity.
Yeah, like...
He's the embodiment. Legitimately. I
would
say that. I would say he's going to go down in the history books again, to be determined on whether that's for the best or for the worst. But, like, he'll definitely be in the history books for something.
Yeah. Are there any other people probably outside of music? Trying to think. Is there, like, a huge actor that everybody would recognize?
I mean, maybe not actor, but I'm thinking, like, I got an Albert Einstein poster. We're not, like, scientists, like Einstein or Edison. Einstein for the silly face where he sticks out his tongue, or Edison for inventing the light bulb. And again, another quote, right? We didn't find another thing that didn't work. We didn't... I'm forgetting. You know what I'm talking about. It's not that we messed up 1,000 times. We just found 1,000 ways that didn't work when inventing the light bulb. And that's just one of those things that I really do take to heart. And now I used to like science way more, like I said, Albert Einstein poster. But I think those two people absolutely are significant enough that people way outside of their home country recognize them.
Yeah, I feel like that one's kind of cheating, though. Because most of those, like, historical figures we learn about in school. So, like, that one is also kind of forced upon us. It's not like... It's like, yes, their achievements are still used today, but if we weren't taught about who made them in school, then nobody would care to think, like, oh, who made this, you know? Like, I have no idea who made power strips, you know? But if we were taught about that in science class at school, everybody would know that. So I feel like that's kind of cheating, in a sense. Like, it's not... part of culture as much as it's just part of common knowledge because we're all taught that. But I'm not saying they're not great people. Like, absolutely, they're cool.
Yeah,
they're
but like,
awesome,
wouldn't science, like, we talk more on the nerd, like, on like entertainment, but is science not part of our culture? So like, with massive science, and we just talk, I mean, like, you know, political figures too.
But it's not like a common knowledge part of culture. You know, it didn't earn its place there because culture lifted it up. It earned its place there because their achievements were significant enough to be their stories still be told today. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not something that happened on its own. It happened because they earned the like carry forward.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Albert Einstein, though. Go. I'm trying to think.
Is there
of
a
actors.
Place? Like a location?
Would you say real quick for actors, would you say like The Rock or John Cena? Maybe The Rock more so. Right, because he has his, like, iconic eyebrow raise. I could see The Rock
because he has a lot of roles, and they span a lot of time, a lot of different looks for him, and a lot of different like kinds of movies. So I could see it. The only problem is that's a case where we're once again forgetting that not everybody watches English movies. Like, yes, there are dubs in other languages, but there are other movies coming out.
He's also in Fortnite. He's also the guy from Fortnite. He is in Fortnite.
He has a soap brand and a drink brand. So
that's how he advertised himself as the foundation with his drink brand.
Yeah.
Remember those days, JJ? Seeing our foundation in the fridge. Foundation mouth.
That was so weird.
Places... I'm just going to think of history again, though, but would you say, like... No, because it'd be the same idea. I don't really know of any places.
I mean, theme parks, right? Like, what about Disney World, you know, Disneyland? Even, like, there are locations outside of America. Like, I'm pretty sure there's one in Tokyo, right? So, like, if I were to say Disney World or Disneyland, then people would probably know what I'm talking about at the very least, even if they've never been, or they wouldn't be able to tell me what's there.
Yeah. I would say that would work. I would say then with the same thing, certain rides at certain Six Flags, like they have like their massive ones like Superman or something, like they're defying that everyone talk like worldwide.
I don't
like
know.
Like the tallest roller coaster in the world.
I have never been to Six Flags, and I could not name you a single ride there.
Do you go to like amusement parks? I feel like if you've been to amusement parks,
I'm broke.
I think
so
Six Flags is known as like the roller coaster
I could probably
place.
name you a couple more rides from, like Universal or Disney than I probably could at Six Flags. And I feel like that's mostly because Disney is so much more well known, and their parks are.
So it's the same thing as like earlier, like the name. So maybe it's not necessarily the roller coaster, but it's because it has
of
that
the
Disney
name. I know more
like the
about
Disney
it,
princesses. Yeah.
We
are coming up on the end though.
We are. So what do you take from this, Seth?
I'd say this is honestly like a really interesting concept. I don't know if we can necessarily come back to. I mean, we probably couldn't like actually like do research on like some cultural significant characters and places, but I just think it's really interesting the idea behind like what makes it culturally significant. Like I said, almost like a formula of like the item, like what it is with the time, whether it be of the time or the time it's been out. I think it's really interesting to kind of see that work in a way to blow something up. Like I was scrolling through, and one of the biggest songs was "Stay" by Justin Bieber. I don't think that blew up because it was a good song. I think it's because the guy that used the drone while he was shaking his butt on TikTok. You know what I'm talking about? I think that's why that's one of the most viewed. Like straight up, like I'm looking here, it's number 9. JJ, it beat out Believer and Dance Monkey and quote like. I think that's why Stay is top 10 because of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting to see like just the culture around that specific time and leading to things blow up. I'd say before we go, would you say any streamers or anything? Would you say someone like Ninja?
I don't know about Ninja, but PewDiePie. Absolutely. PewDiePie, I feel like is known everywhere.
Yeah, no, PewDiePie, absolutely. The T-Series, the bridge incident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'd say PewDiePie.
Yeah.
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 Well, how about you, JJ? What are you thinking about this? I'm happy you came up with this. This is kind of fun. Really racking our brains today.
This was a really interesting concept. I think it's I don't know, it probably says a lot more about our culture than we're realizing, like the kinds of things that become popular. But I think it's really interesting to differentiate like what is just from like the spaces that we're in and what is something that the entire world would recognize, you know? Yeah.
I'm Dr. Zombrin.
And I'm a foot scrubby.
Make sure you go join our Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything else, including our Discord. Talk about us. To us. To our face. Come say your comments directly to our face in Discord right now.
Yell at us.
Do it. Yell at us. I
be
dare
angry.
You. I dare you.
Please, bro.